Hi guys, today we will figure out how the camera works. Wait, don't be afraid, I won't bore you with the technical specification and all that stuff. We are not engineers and we don't need to know the smallest technical features of the cameras. We will learn how to use the camera and understand how it works, not to create a new one. For example, when you buy a vacuum cleaner, you don't study the vacuum cleaner but the smallest details of the vacuum. You just need to know the minimum information that allows you to use the vacuum correctly. Which buttons turn on the vacuum, how to switch the modes, and how to clean the dust collector. It's same in photography. You can study all the cameras in the world to the smallest feature and argue which model is better with the seller in the store. Like this camera is better because it has a titanium alloy body and a 5 million pixel screen. Or you can understand how the camera works and go to take pictures. That's do what you bought the camera for. We are photographers, we are not engineers. To be honest, I graduated from the technical university and I am an engineer, but that's not the point now. So I will try to make sure that you understand the logic of the camera, which buttons on your camera model are responsible for which function. You should learn by yourself. Otherwise, we will waste a lot of time learning all the camera in the world. Here we learn the logic of how the camera works. So let's start with the fact that our eyes is much more advanced than the camera. We see the picture differently and we should remember this when we shoot. Your eyes can see the both bright and dark areas at the same time. For example, you are sitting in a dark room on a sofa, there is a window in front of you and a bright light shines from the window, but you can see both what's happened outside of the window and what's going on inside the room. Sure, you focus on one thing, but you can see it all without our exposure and dips into darkness. The camera can do that. If there is a big difference in illumination, the camera sees well easier what's happening outside or what's happening inside the room. That's it. Inside, outside. We can extract information from the light and extract information from the shadows during the processing, but our eyes does it automatically. To be completely honest, I think that the eyes transmit the light and dark image into the brain, and the brain glues these two pictures together. It's like a built-in Photoshop in your brain, but I'm not sure 100%. You need to ask your doctor. The camera also doesn't understand how much light should be in the frame, and if a lot of light gets into the lens in auto mode, the camera will shoot like this. The same result will be if a lamp shines into the lens instead of a window. This happens because the camera tries to balance the amount of the light in the frame. The camera squints when there is a lot of the lights and open the aperture when it's dark. Just like your eyes does when you go outside where the sun is shining brightly or enter in a dark room. By the way, I most often use the AV mode, that's the aperture priority, and this is a semi-automatic mode, and I recommend it to you. Use this mode, it's very convenient. We will study the manual settings so that you understand how the camera works, but the AV mode is the most convenient and we try not to complicate our lives. This is what the mode selection wheels look like on a Canon. The camera adjusts the amount of the light using three tools: the aperture, ISO and shutter speed. Aperture is several curtains that open or close a hole. This how it looks. It works like eyes. The more the hole is open, the lighter the frame will be, and backwards. Note that the wider the holes, the smaller the number. If your camera is turning toward the window, then a lot of the lights enter into the lens, and the camera will make the picture darker like this. But we can tell our camera, hey buddy, shoot brighter, and turn the exposure wheel to the plus. And we get a picture like this. And backward, if you want to make the picture darker, then you turn the wheel to the minus and get a picture like this. This is how the exposure scale looks like. You can pull it to the minus, that make the exposure lower, which means darker, or you can pull it to the plus, that's the make the exposure higher, which means lighter. This is the same as your phone when you depress and hold your finger where you want to focus. You can get the sun icon, and now you pull down that's the to the minus, and the picture becomes darker. You can pull it up, that's the go to the plus, and the picture becomes lighter. This is the video how it look like on your phone. I think in general terms about how the camera sees the light is the clear. In the future, as necessary, we will study in more details. Now about focusing, how to get into the focus. You can also say how to get into the sharpness. Let's imagine that you have chosen focus by the point, and you want to take a shot like this. This is how it will look. There can be one focus point, like on mirrorless cameras, like this. Or there can be many points, like on DSLR cameras. On a mirrorless camera there is only one dot, but it works great and can be anywhere. You can touch any part of the screen and focus on the spot. On DSLR cameras there is many dots, but you can't move them, and only the center one works well. So you want to take a shot like this. The camera will make a noise, the glasses into the lens will move, but the shot won't be taken. This is because the nothing contrasting get into the square. Any cameras can only focus on a contrasting object. This means that there is should be something with a difference in brightness inside the square. We just need to make it so that there is something contrasting into the square, and the camera focuses and take the shoot. Here we have the skin and we have a white dress inside the square, so this is a good contrast. Or we can move not the dot, but change the placement of the objects into the frame, for example like this, and it's more correct to focus on the eyes. The eyes should be in focus, otherwise the viewer will feel discomfort. He will not understand what's going on, but the brain of the viewer will get nervous if the eyes are blurry into the picture. If you have more than one person into the frame, the camera don't know who needs to be photographed at this moment. and it's better to turn off the focus on the eyes and focus by the point. Sure, now the autofocus works well on the mirrorless cameras, but still, if you want to be sure that the focus is on the right person, it's better to focus on by the point. The focus itself on modern mirrorless cameras is almost error-free, and you don't need to worry about autofocus misses. Almost 100% that the camera will get into the focus if you don't set the wrong settings. Today we talked about the aperture and the focus. In the next lesson we will talk about the shutter speed and the light sensitivity. Light sensitivity is also called the ISO. Now let's repeat the main ideas of this lesson. Do not complicate the life and use the semi-automatic modes. Someone may say that the professional should use the manual settings, otherwise you can just shoot on your phone. But I say the professional is someone who performs a given task. The camera and the shooting modes are tools in our hands. If the semi-automatic mode is enough, then you don't need to use the manual mode. Manual mode you can use if you shoot into the studio. In other cases, it's easier to use the semi-automatic modes. The wider the aperture, the smaller the number and the brighter the picture. A lens with the maximum aperture of 1.2 is more complex and better quality and much more expensive than the lens with the maximum aperture of 4. The camera can only focus on contrasting areas, and the more important in photography, it's you need to know this is play with the light and shadows. For example, the difference between number 1 and the number 2 is only that the circle number 2 has a shadow, and now that the circle has a value, and now it's called a bulb. The camera doesn't understand how much light should be inside the frame. Adjust the amount of the lights, it's your responsibility. If you have very light and very dark areas into the frame, you will have to choose what to show, what is more important to you, illuminating part of the face or object. By the way, this technique is often used to set some beautiful light. If you like this video, you can thank me by the liking and subscribing to the channel. I will also be grateful if you share this video with your friends. If you have any question, ask me into the comments and I will definitely answer. Thank you and see you soon.